Hi there, I'm Jamie Taylor. Welcome to Your Health Matters, brought to you by Kingman Regional Medical Center, your community-owned hospital. Every week in this program, I have a different guest, and we talk about different programs, services, opportunities available to you and your family here at KRMC. I've got a great guest on the program today, so I hope you'll stay tuned. We'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back to Your Health Matters. My guest today is Garrison Hills. Can I call you Gary?
Sure, please do.
Okay. And Gary, you're the Director of Environmental Services here at KRMC.
That's right.
Right. So what exactly is environmental services?
Environmental services is the cleaning of the hospital, it is the laundry, it's also managing the waste streams, such as the hazardous waste streams, regulated medical waste streams, all those type of things.
So it's a lot more than just pushing a mop.
It is a lot more. And it's particularly important when you think of how we are the front line and how we primarily, we're usually the first ones to engage with the patients, and so we have a big role in providing a good patient experience.
Okay. When you say you're the first one, is that because once the patient's in their room, your staff is in there interacting with them?
Right, exactly.
And I know they do everything from emptying the wastebasket to cleaning the bathrooms.
That's right.
Doing the rooms, cleaning the whiteboards, the whole
whole thing.
The
whole thing, sure.
And it's more than just coming in with a handy wipe.
It is.
What is it?
Well, it's actually, what we do here at Kingman is we clean and then we disinfect it. If you have a dirty surface and you just disinfect it like a lot of places do, you don't get the same results as we do. And also we use disposable cloths. If we were to clean this surface, we would throw it away before we clean that surface with another towel.
Oh, so you're not spreading it from one to another.
No cross-contamination, right?
Okay.
I also have a device which is called an ATP tester. ATP is adenosine triphosphate.
That's easy for you to say.
And it is it's a swab test device where I could swab a surface that's been cleaned to test it for ATP. Okay. Which is, it's an energy molecule that is found in every living surface, including dirt. So if a surface has been cleaned and I don't detect any ATP, then I know that bacteria cannot grow on that surface.
Oh, okay. And so so it's a disinfectant that gets rid of that?
Well, we clean, then we disinfect, and then we swab, and we can test with a handheld device and get the results within 15 seconds. And we mostly use it for a training tool. It's mostly for new employees so they can see that what they're doing is making a difference.
Okay, so it's not like every person in environmental services who's cleaning a room carries one of those with them all the time. That's more of a tool, as you're saying, for training.
The supervisors.
Okay, very good. So I know that when a patient comes into a hospital, they're sick and family's very worried about them. And I think one of the things that I really wanted to help put their fears at ease is knowing how clean and disinfected those rooms are before they get there.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So they don't have to, they're already sick, and we're going to do our best to make sure they don't get sicker while they're at the hospital.
Absolutely. And that's why it's important for housekeepers to perform what we call inet, where we go and we acknowledge and we introduce ourselves and we explain to them how long we're going to be in the room and exactly what what's going to be done for them, and also what they can expect next. We'll be back after lunch to police your area again, or somebody will be back in the evening to police your area. So it reduces their anxiety knowing what's in store for them, so they're not just sitting there waiting when they're going to see us again.
So housekeeping doesn't just come through once a day and make a big sweep?
No, usually in the room 4 times a day.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. That's awesome.
We just recently added on what we call the fourth patient touch, we call it.
Okay.
That's coming back in the evening just to perform aided again, let patients know that we're here to give them provide whatever we can do for them.
And I know you have an awesome trained staff that not only knows how to clean and disinfect, but as you said, you're using that aided in how they interact with our patients, and it's great to see them. I was up on the floors the other day for a couple of things, and they just have that caring, really, that you've indoctrinated into them. And I think most people just think, oh, housekeeping.
That's
They
true.
don't.
And that's the way it used to be. You know,
Right.
the housekeeper went in the room and just kind of went in and cleaned the room and left. But now, like I say, it's so much more important that we have that we share, that we engage with patients and make sure because sometimes patients don't know what to expect when we're in the room. We need to explain it to them so that way, as they're laying there, they can check off in their minds, okay, she said she was going to do that, she said she was going to do that. And then they're totally set. And before we leave, we ask if there's anything else we can do because we have the time. Again, it just reduces anxiety and
Right.
helps healing.
Well, and again, I think I want to talk about that because like when I was up on the floor the other day, I saw a couple of your folks in a room getting ready, or they were cleaning and disinfecting, obviously, because they had, the bed was all stripped. It was just down to the mattress pad, and they had flipped it. I mean, they were cleaning both sides.
Sure, oh, sure.
Making sure, so
Yep.
those, is that pretty normal?
Oh, when they discharge, yeah, when the patient goes home and the room is in, and there's two types of cleaning. The first cleaning is just the daily patient room routine cleaning,
Okay.
where we go and we spend about 7 to 10 minutes in just cleaning the high-touch surfaces, disinfecting the bathroom, cleaning the floors, that type of thing. And then when the patient leaves, it's more of a detailed cleaning. We clean every surface, plus we go back and we disinfect the high-touch surfaces with a disinfectant.
Okay. So again, that's a way to help allay patients and their families' concerns that they don't have whatever the previous patient was in that room.
That's right.
That's cleaned and gone.
That's right.
At that point.
And we also leave a tent card like you see sometimes in motels where it shows who the person was that cleaned the room. If they had any questions, we can bring that person back in to clarify what they did.
That's great. Very good. So there really is that interaction,
Oh, for sure.
which makes it a whole different experience, I think, for patients. And I think it gives pride of ownership with our employees as
right.
well.
That's right.
Because they do have that personal interaction with them.
It means a lot to them.
Right. So, okay, so that's the cleaning side. But there's a whole bunch of other things you mentioned that environmental services does
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
we keep pretty busy. Like I say, we run the laundry. I think, I was told that there's just a few hospitals in the state of Arizona. Of course, I'm originally from Boston. I've been here for 2 years, but I think there's only just a handful of hospitals in Arizona that have their own laundry, and Kingman is one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Most hospitals send it out?
Yeah, they outsource,
Oh.
yeah.
So that's a challenge too, because not only keeping up with the laundry, but the equipment maintenance and stuff too. I know there's been times when you've had a breakdown, and so asking people to be more aware of what
It's
they're
true.
doing.
It
And
does
you
happen.
don't just do laundry for the hospital, you also do it for the wellness center.
Oh,
The
sure.
towels, right?
Sure, and all the off-site clinics that we have around here, we
Do it all.
process it every day.
Do I dare ask how many loads of laundry you do a day?
Not so much how many loads, but how many pounds.
Oh,
And I have to guess it. If I right off the top of my head, maybe I better not guess, but
it's a lot.
it's a lot.
I mean, when you think about it, all
Sure.
those towels, and then plus you're doing sheets,
Right.
you know, all the linens as
Yeah.
well, hospital gowns, all of that stuff,
All of
even
that.
tablecloths, because I know PR sends our tablecloths down to
That's
you.
right. That's right.
And they come back all nicely laundered and pressed and look really good.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you have the washer and the dryer, and then folding.
Yep. We have washers, we have dryers, we have folders, we have ironers. It's all
Wow.
all down there, and it runs about 16 hours a day down there.
So I was just going to ask if it's how many hours. It's got to be. I'm surprised actually it's not 24/7 with that load that you have.
Yeah, well, it could be. I mean,
Yeah.
there's enough volume there to warrant that for sure.
My goodness, that's a lot.
Yep.
And okay, so that's laundry.
Yep.
And then you mentioned hazardous materials.
Yep.
What's that?
Hazardous, well, like pharmaceutical waste. We have a separate waste stream for pharmaceutical waste. It has to be handled separately. It's not considered regulated medical waste, where it doesn't go out in the red bag trash. It doesn't go out in the solid waste because it's not suitable for landfills. So it goes out as a separate waste stream. We partner with a company called Clean Harbors.
Okay.
And they come and they pick up and they dispose properly of our pharmaceutical waste.
Wow. So you do it like once a week? I mean, you bag everything and, or
There are containers in each, where it gets generated, in each area where it's generated throughout the hospital. We collect it. We have a separate trailer out back where we hold it, which is
okay.
called the central accumulation area. And then as needed, we will call them and they'll come truck it out
Okay,
of here.
okay.
Usually about every 3 months.
Oh, okay. Well, and I know too, again, I mean, I'm always bragging on KRMC, and I think this is important for people to know too. We are environmentally conscious, and so we do like separate out cardboard,
Yep.
right?
Cardboard and bottles and cans, anything recyclable like that.
Okay.
It's a separate waste stream also.
And so that's there is a lot,
There's a lot.
Of waste, if you would, that gets generated from a hospital.
Sure.
Patients, employees, through the cafe.
Sure.
All the different departments that you
And the good, it's to our advantage as far as disposing of the bottles and cans properly. It's to our advantage because that is poundage and tonnage. It doesn't have to go into our dumpsters. We don't have to pay a per ton fee on that.
Oh, sure.
And also on the cardboard these days is a commodity. So as our vendor collects this cardboard and does whatever they do with it, they will give us a kickback. Or they will give us a rebate.
Like a rebate,
A
yeah.
rebate.
Yeah, kind of recycling like you do with, and persons can do that too.
Yeah.
Save their papers and aluminum and bottles.
That's right. Yeah.
So we do the same kind of thing. But then we have like a compactor or something up back there that squishes it all
For the
down.
cardboard, we do.
Yeah, it makes it a little flatter so it's not quite,
Right.
you don't just have one big container full of boxes.
Right. It's all compressed.
Yeah, and then you have someone that just comes and picks them up and
Right.
do what they do to recycle.
Right.
Well, and I guess I see that as a good community partner as well. We're not filling the landfills,
Right.
which is always, an issue. We're running out of space, as they say, and recycling and using those things more wisely. It's a good thing.
It's the right thing to do.
Right. So from the hazmat side and pharmaceuticals, but then you mentioned the red bags, and we have the red container, the sharps containers. Do you guys handle that
Yep,
piece
we
as
do.
well?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's red bag waste, which is for regulated medical waste. Anything sopping wet with blood or any anatomical or pathological waste goes in the red bags. We do have an autoclave on site where we sterilize the red bag, the regulated medical waste ourselves, and then it's deemed safe for us to dispose of it into the compactor, and it goes to the landfill at that point.
Okay. So we compact our trash too? So we
do.
even the regular trash that goes out there, we squish it all down.
Compacted.
Good.
Yep. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, Gary, how you learned all this. I mean, because this isn't just like mom's mopping the kitchen floor. There's a lot more involved.
Right.
Did you have to go to school to learn how to take care of all of this?
It actually was through experience.
Okay.
Back in the 80s, I owned back when I was back in Massachusetts, I owned a Service Master cleaning franchise, which we cleaned up after fires and floods and water damage and that
Like
type of thing.
restoration type of things?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was how I got my hands in the cleaning part. And then after a while, after doing that for 8 or 9 years, I thought, geez, why don't I work in the hospital? All this cleaning that I do, So when I first started in the hospital, I didn't know, a morgue from an MRI. I didn't know nothing about it. So I started from the ground up and worked my way up, and I just watched what my directors and supervisors did, and I just learned from them. And then, of course, as you go from facility to facility, you learn more and more, and you just gain knowledge that way through experience. And
So how many hospitals have you worked in?
let's see, I worked at probably 6.
Oh, wow.
6 over the last 21 years, 23 years now.
Very good. And so KRMC is your first, west of Mississippi?
First west of New York.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you got smart as you got older,
Yeah,
came to
I
the
think- yeah, I
warmer climate, especially this year. You already were talking snow that they're having in New York, and you're like, yeah, Arizona's not too bad.
Arizona's the place to be.
It
Yeah.
is. So when we were talking about the different cleanings, and there's a lot of different chemicals that are involved as well, and your department probably more than any other has that material data safety that they have to learn about. And I think we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we can talk more about that, because that's a pretty important piece as well.
It is.
Okay. So stay tuned. We'll be back right after these messages. So what kind of things are you doing for your staff and for the patients for the Ebola?
For the Ebola.
Welcome back to Your Health Matters. My guest today is Gary Hill, who's the Director of Environmental Services here at KRMC. Thanks again for being on the show, Gary.
Thank you, Jimmy.
So we've been talking about killing germs and all of the different things that your staff of environmental services touches. You've got to have a lot of people. How many do you have working for you?
Between housekeeping and laundry, we have 75 employees.
Wow, that's awesome. And that probably there are days when you feel short-staffed, even when we've got a full patient load upstairs, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of rooms to clean.
Well, with 75 employees, there's usually somebody out on vacation or
Sure.
so.
And it's 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not just
Yeah.
during the day, Monday through Friday, obviously.
Yeah, we don't close.
No. I know people are always say, "Oh, you off for Veterans Day?" No. I don't think we can't say to patients, "Oh, sorry, it's a holiday. Don't come in today."
Come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Doesn't work that way.
No, not usually. So you have 75 employees, and they touch patients on a regular basis throughout the day. That we were talking before the break. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that the programs you've put in place to train the employees. Now, so if someone wanted to come to work in environmental services at KRMC, what would they do, and what kind of background do they need?
Well, that's not a prerequisite. I mean, we've had the best luck with hiring some people that have no experience at all. Sometimes if they are experienced with cleaning in high schools or hotels, sometimes they bring their bad habits with them.
Okay.
It's better for us to just train them the way that we do from square one, and sometimes it works out. So
Did you train them from the bottom up
from the
then?
bottom up. Of course, we would do that with anybody, but
Right.
sometimes it's easier when somebody has
No experience.
right. As long as they have the personality that they can interact with the patients, that's the key part.
You know, and that's interesting because you wouldn't think of that as being a prerequisite. I don't think in most other facilities.
That's true.
But I know for a fact, having worked here at KRMC, how important that is, that personality is
It
for
really
them.
is.
So young people, then, I mean, do they have to be a high school graduate to come to work?
They need to be able to read and write at a certain level. That's
Okay.
what,
But is there an age limit? Like, do they have to be over 18?
yeah.
Oh, they do have to be over
18, sure,
18. And do you know why that is? I'm just curious.
I think it's just the state.
Well, I know
law.
that, like, I think 16, they can go to work in nutrition services, but
But
environment.
as far as handling any type of machine or operating machinery, I think you have to be 18.
Okay, right, and there is some, we didn't even talk about that, but I know you've got some machines out there, those guys, I see them with their big waxers going down the
Right.
halls, and that thing could get away from someone and just, it looks like it's almost like a wild horse they've got under control,
That's true,
apparently. So I can see, I mean, they're operating equipment
Yeah,
that
yeah, that's
is
right.
important.
Very true.
So we were talking about the hazardous materials and the different things. I guess I just find it interesting how many different chemicals and processes you have in place that your employees have to know about.
That's true, because cleaning a patient room compared to cleaning a patient room that is on isolation or precautions, it's a different process. Someone who has some of the MDROs that we have, some of the drug-resistant
Right.
cases, we have to use a special process.
And are those different chemicals
Different
that you
chemicals,
use?
yep,
Okay.
yep.
Plus more in-depth, I mean, when you say different processes, it's trying to get in crevices and things like that.
Yeah, it's more like what we call a terminal cleaning. Sometimes we'll go and wash walls and take down the cubicle curtains and all that, just a real terminal
All the way
cleaning.
down to the bare walls kind of thing.
Yeah,
Because those germs can be on every surface.
that's right.
Oh, and even though we haven't had an issue of it yet in Arizona, but I know that people are concerned about Ebola. It's Ebola. And how it possibly can affect us and the concerns. And I think, again, and I just know from group meetings we've had, that the hospital has put things in place to protect both the patients and the staff.
That's right.
Right, to
That's
make
right.
sure, because obviously here in the U.S., it's the nurses that have been the most at risk
Right.
and have carried that on. So what kind of things are you doing for your staff and for the patients for that for the Ebola?
For the Ebola? Well, I guess the hospital has a predetermined area where the patient would go if there was one to come into the hospital, which would be treated as like a holding area until they are able to be transported off-site to the designated hospital to be treated. But it's mandatory for us to make sure that we gown up properly, double glove, and there's a whole litany of things that we need to make sure that we're doing to protect ourselves.
Right, I know that there's even a way to take the gowns off and on to make sure that when you're taking them off, you're not contaminating yourself at that, because you don't think about it, you take the glove off, well, now you've just
That's right,
touched it.
recontaminated. Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
So do your staff all go through a special training to learn how to do that,
We
even
did.
though we don't need it yet?
Yep.
But
Oh yeah,
so
last
they're ready.
month, Debbie from Infection Control came up and we demonstrated. We also encouraged all the staff to buddy up with somebody so they can tie the gown for them so it's not so clumsy for them.
Right.
Yeah, they all went through that process last month.
Very good. And the same, because cleaning, even after the patient's left, they can still be at risk.
Sure,
Right. So you want to
absolutely.
make sure that they're taking care of themselves and knowing the risks so they don't pass it to themselves or even take it home with them, I
That's
guess.
right.
you
I mean,
know.
anything that's in that room would be disposable. The mattress would be disposable.
Oh.
The curtains, all the laundry, it would all be disposable.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. So they just would like burn it? I mean,
We would autoclave. We're fortunate to have an autoclaver on site where we can
Okay.
sterilize it because shipping it off-site is problematic. So we're
Sure.
lucky we don't have to do that. We can
is
autoclave
that fairly
it here.
new? I don't, the autoclave?
It's been here a while.
Oh, has it?
Uh-huh.
Because I don't remember in the past. Seems that we didn't have one, but I've been here a while, so.
It's been here as
But
long as I've been here.
As long as you've
Yeah.
been here,
Yeah.
okay. And we talked about that real briefly. You started at KMC 2 years ago?
Yes, 2 years ago, December 3rd.
Oh, right, so coming up.
Yeah, my anniversary.
And you came from Boston most recently?
Most recently, I was in White Plains, New York, White Plains
okay.
Hospital Center. Yeah.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good. Well, we're blessed to have someone that's had that kind of experience that you've had, Gary, and that's here and able to train our employees and bring them up. And I know that for myself, I've seen the patient satisfaction numbers that you and your staff have raised the bar for that. And I think a lot of that has to do with how you've trained the staff to interact with the patients and have that personal ownership.
Yeah, it's making sure you have the right person in the right place.
Right.
That means a lot. Some employees are great cleaners,
Right.
but you just can't change a person's personality if they're not going to be interactive with the patient. There's other things that we can
Sure, they
have
can
them
probably
clean.
do good after the patient leaves, right?
Right, sure.
To clean the room then,
Sure.
but not so much when the patient's in the room. That makes sense.
Mhm.
And we all have our strengths and weaknesses, so
Absolutely.
it's good to be able to identify them. So I guess it's good, and I think that, and I had mentioned that earlier about how someone gets a job here at KMC, and if, because people are always looking for work nowadays, there's
Mm-hmm.
those opportunities, and it's good to know it's considered probably an entry level. Is that
Yeah.
at the beginning?
Yeah, and what we usually do, as in a lot of departments in the hospital, we usually hire somebody on call first,
Oh, okay.
which doesn't mean that they sit home and wait by the phone, but it just means that they're not in a full-time 40-hour, because a lot of times they come in thinking that they want to work in a hospital, and they come in, they go, geez, what will I get myself into?
Yeah.
So we need to
right.
give them the opportunity to come in, see if it's something that they truly want, give them a chance to showcase to me and the supervisors what they can do, and then we get them into a 40-hour position as soon as possible.
Okay. Well, and I hadn't even thought about that, but as you were just saying that, I'm like, oh, yeah, because you clean the emergency room too.
Sure.
So probably they have to have a pretty strong stomach, I would think sometimes too, right? Be able to deal with some
Sure. Yeah.
not so pretty things that.
During the interview process, I don't paint a pretty picture. I explain to them exactly what they can expect.
Yeah, the worst case scenarios kind
scenario.
of thing. And not everyone can deal with that. I mean, I know a lot of guys that may be big, tough guys, but yeah.
Brings them to their knees
Yeah.
real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and again, and your ER staff I would imagine, be different even than your staff that's just normally in the regular patient rooms.
Sure.
Because they have to have that higher level. even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to. It's a lot of multitasking down the ER. We have a very
Right.
busy ER. So.
Yeah. Well, Gary, thank you again
Oh.
for being on the show. And I think hopefully we've set some people's minds at ease. They know when they do come in the hospital that they're going to have a clean room, disinfected room, and feel safer about that.
Great.
So,
Thank
I
you.
hope you learned something new today. I know I did. And that you'll join me again next week when I'll have another exciting guest on the program.
Very good. Good.